There's something in your home right now that represents one of humanity's greatest breakthroughs in art and science. You probably don't realize its significance, you probably don't know where it came from, but this object, this piece of ceramic, carries the fingerprints of a revolution. This is the story of pottery that changed everything. Let me take you back to the 9th century. Mesopotamia, Persia, Syria, the Islamic world is at the absolute peak of innovation. While Europe is still creating crude, simple pottery, dark, plain, functional, the Islamic world is doing something nobody has ever attempted before. They're combining art with science. They're transforming clay into something magical. It starts with a question: what if we could make pottery shimmer? What if we could create metallic effects on ceramic surfaces? What if we could make pottery that catches light and gleams like metal itself? Muslim potters began experimenting with glazes, not simple glazes, complex formulas, sophisticated techniques. They developed something called lusterware, luster glazes. This technique required extraordinary precision. You had to apply specific metallic compounds to the pottery surface. You had to heat it to exact temperatures. You had to understand chemistry at the molecular level. And when done correctly, magic happened. The pottery shimmered, it gleamed, it caught light and reflected it like polished metal. For the first time in human history, ceramics didn't just hold water, they dazzled the eye. They caught light, they transformed ordinary pottery into art. This innovation began in Mesopotamia in the 9th century, and it spread like wildfire. Persia embraced it, Syria perfected it. Potters were competing to create the most stunning lusterware, the most brilliant shimmer, the most beautiful metallic effects. But the innovation didn't stop there. Islamic potters made another breakthrough. They invented fritware. Fritware was revolutionary because it was harder than traditional pottery. It was more durable, more refined, more suitable for detailed artistic work. But here's what made fritware truly extraordinary. You could paint it with vivid colors before glazing it. Cobalt blue, deep, rich, saturated blue that had never been seen on pottery before. You could paint intricate designs, complex patterns, detailed scenes. Then you'd apply a transparent glaze over the top. The glaze would protect the painting, lock it in place, make it permanent. And when you looked at the finished piece, revelation. The cobalt blue seemed to glow from within the glaze. The designs were sharp, clear, brilliant. This was not just pottery anymore. This was a canvas. This was art. This was technology. Centers emerged to perfect this craft. Fustat in Egypt became famous for ceramic innovation. Kashan in Persia became legendary for its ceramics. These weren't just production centers. They were innovation hubs, laboratories, artistic universities. Potters in Kashan were developing new glazing techniques constantly. New painting methods, new color combinations, new design possibilities. They were pushing the boundaries of what ceramics could do. Rivalry emerged between the centers. Who could create the most beautiful piece? Who could master the most difficult technique? Who could combine art and science most brilliantly? This competition drove innovation at breathtaking speed. Lusterware became more sophisticated, more shimmering, more magnificent. Fritware became harder, more refined, more painterly, and something extraordinary happened. These ceramics became objects of desire. Not just practical vessels, not just functional pottery, luxury goods, status symbols, works of art. Wealthy people throughout the Islamic world wanted these ceramics. They displayed them, they collected them, they prized them. And then something remarkable occurred. Traders began exporting these ceramics to the Ottoman Empire, to North Africa, to Europe. European merchants and royalty encountered this pottery. They were stunned. They had never seen anything like it. The shimmer of lusterware, the brilliance of fritware, the artistic sophistication, the technical mastery, they wanted it, they demanded it, they paid extraordinary prices for it. Islamic ceramics became the most valued pottery in the world. For centuries, European rulers desired and collected Islamic ceramics above all others. Think about what this means. These were not just practical objects. They represented the peak of human creativity and technical knowledge. They combined chemistry, art, engineering, and aesthetics in perfect harmony. One piece of pottery contained the knowledge of multiple sciences, the chemistry of glazes, the physics of light reflection, the artistry of design, the precision of craftsmanship, the vision of innovation. That's the real story of Islamic ceramics. It's not just about pretty plates. It's about a civilization that understood. Objects can be both functional and beautiful. Science and art are not opposites. Craft and innovation are inseparable. Now look around your home. Do you have ceramics, pottery, a decorated plate? Chances are it carries the influence of Islamic ceramic innovation. The decorative techniques you see, the glazing methods, the color choices, all of it traces back to those 9th century potters in Mesopotamia, Persia, and Syria. Even modern ceramics have in cheap, mass-produced pottery owes its existence to the techniques pioneered in Islamic workshops. The cobalt blue you see, that's from Kashan. The shimmering glaze effects, that's from lusterware traditions. The advanced firing techniques, that's from centuries of Islamic innovation. We use these objects every day, we eat from these dishes, we drink from these cups, and we never think about the genius behind them. We never credit the potters of Kashan, the craftsmen of Fustat, the innovators of Mesopotamia. We never acknowledge that they didn't just make pottery, they invented modern ceramics. They proved that practical objects could be works of art, that science could enhance beauty. That innovation comes from questioning what's possible. What if we could make pottery shimmer? What if we could combine technical mastery with artistic vision? What if we pushed the boundaries of what clay could become? Those questions asked centuries ago in Islamic workshops changed ceramics forever, and they still affect your life every single day. The next time you hold a piece of ceramic, remember, you're holding 10 years of innovation. You're holding the legacy of potters who combined science and art. You're holding proof that beauty and function are not separate. That the Islamic Golden Age didn't just advance knowledge, it created lasting beauty that the world still treasures. Thank you for remembering these forgotten innovators. They transformed how humanity creates, beautifies, and uses objects. They still inspire us every time we admire a beautiful piece of pottery. They changed the world through the power of clay, color, and vision.